Imagine being caught between two countries, two identities, and two conflicting sets of responsibilities. What would you do if you thought you'd left behind an obligation, only to find it chasing you halfway around the world? Today on 2230, we dive deep into the case of Garrett Alexander Gan Kok Ling, an American citizen sentenced to imprisonment in Singapore for national service default. It's a story that raises questions about citizenship, dual obligations, and the limits of personal freedom, and we want to hear your take on it. On October 7, 2024, an American citizen in Singapore was sentenced to 9 weeks of imprisonment for defaulting on his national service (NS) requirements. The case, although not explicitly named by Progress Singapore Party NCMP Hazel in Parliament, clearly matches the circumstances of Garrett Alexander Gan Kok Ling. What led up to this sentencing? Let's take a closer look. Garrett Gan had been a dual citizen, born an American citizen but also a Singaporean by descent because of his Singaporean father. This complex identity ultimately led to an even more complex predicament. Gan was called up for national service in 2003 but failed to appear for enlistment. Instead, he renounced his Singaporean citizenship in 2006, believing that he was no longer under obligation to serve. However, as Singapore law still recognizes these obligations until they are formally fulfilled, Garrett was eventually arrested in January 2024 for failing to comply with his NS duties. Garrett Gan pleaded guilty to 2 charges under the Enlistment Act, specifically for remaining outside of Singapore for over 3 years without an exit permit. His sentence? 9 weeks of imprisonment. The implications of his case are far-reaching. Should dual citizens, who often have allegiances and responsibilities to 2 nations, be given some leniency, or should the law be rigid regardless of individual circumstances? This led to some questions raised in Singapore's parliament. NCMP Hazel from the Progress Singapore Party asked the Ministry of Foreign Affairs if any official representation had been made by the United States regarding the case of this American citizen sentenced for NS defaulting offences. The ministry's response? A simple and definitive no. It appears that the US government did not intervene or make representations regarding Garrett Gan's situation. Does this mean that dual citizenship brings with it not just opportunities, but also a lack of protection when the going gets tough? It's a thought-provoking idea, one that raises questions about the duties and privileges of holding dual nationalities. We're curious to hear what you think. Should Garrett Gan have faced imprisonment, or should there have been some consideration for his unique circumstances? Could Singapore's NS policies evolve to adapt to increasingly global identities, or is the law as it stands necessary for fairness and national duty? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with more detailed and factual coverage of intriguing stories like this one. Remember, your opinion matters, and we'd love to hear what you think of this international dilemma. Hit that bell icon so you never miss an update, and let's keep the discussion going right here on 2230.